Hi, Jim.
Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm recovering from Easter.
Too many Easter eggs?
Not really because I cannot eat chocolate, but all the rest.
Okay.
What about you?
I have a I have a controversial opinion that Easter candy is better than any of the rest of the year's candy throughout the whole year.
Well, it's not that controversial.
There's some people who really, really like their Christmas candy, so
Yeah, well, good luck not giving any Easter egg to my wife.
I really like the Cadbury eggs and the Robin eggs, if you've heard of those. So
Not really. I don't even think that we find them here. Hi,
let
Rick.
me send you pictures of them. Uh, I'm just going to DM you pictures.
Hi, Rick. How you doing?
Good morning, guys.
Good
Waking
morning.
up. Well, it's only five something in the morning for me, so it's
Oh yeah, you're super early.
I got distracted and realized it's on. I'm gonna go join. So,
Robin eggs.
No, we don't have those.
What about
But
these?
are those like M&Ms?
No, so they're Whopper based. So a Whopper is like a chocolate coated, what is it, malt
yeah,
inside,
it's
and
like chocolate
so
malt balls.
they're crunchy.
Yeah,
And then the other eggs that I sent you are basically just candy coated chocolate, or
Yeah,
yeah, and they're crunchy.
those look good. I cannot eat them, but those look good.
just sugar, different flavors.
Yep. So I don't know if Lee is coming today because I didn't hear him. Let's try to check.
I think he's off today, if I remember.
Uh, I think he got back today, but I'm not entirely sure. So
Maybe just catch up.
yeah, I'll just ping him quickly to make sure.
Okay. How has your REST QL stuff been going, Rick?
Pretty good. Last week I had I didn't get as much done on it as I wanted to, but I've got it to the point now where I have a template that I can basically use the application if you want to generate a set of variables. Like if you look at the GraphQL Explorer, you can have a template. You can either have just the query or you can effectively template it. They have a different name for it, but effectively make a template and then give it variables that are a JSON format. So it produces, at least the simple queries seem to be working right now. I'm trying to add more complexity to it to see if there's something wrong. But at this point, to me at least, the proof of concept works. So, and because we can send a sparse version of it instead of the queries, you could basically cache the template on the back end, and each of your queries then become literally this tiny 100 byte fragment of JSON that could query whatever you want. So conceptually, it seems to be working. I'm trying to flush it out enough in the more complicated cases now where your queries are more larger, I guess. So yeah, no, it's coming together. As I posted something on Discord a while ago, like last week, at least to Lee saying, hey, go take a look. There's a merge if you want to grab the branch and play with it, go ahead. It at least works to the point where you can experiment with it. So
Yeah, it was looking pretty interesting. I took a look at that MR briefly. So I
Yeah,
don't
I
know
saw them.
much about that whole project, but it looks interesting. You're rewriting the whole GraphQL stuff into Rust, right?
yeah, at least the engine that converts from GitLab's query language, which is this intermediate thing. I don't know, or it's sort of half the structure that's coming in is sort of half output, half input. Right? It's which fields am I interested in? What data do I want to get? And then we convert that to GraphQL. And then feed it into the normal query engine to actually get the data back. So yeah, it's coming together.
Okay.
Awesome.
Hello.
Hello.
Anyway,
Hey, Lee.
So
It's,
it's Tuesday. It's not Monday.
yeah, it's always confusing. I'm out at an event on Thursday and Friday as well, so this week's just going to be completely confusing.
Oh yeah.
Has anyone brought anything fun?
I'm still in Easter mode, so
You got any chocolate to share with us? Or?
I don't because I cannot eat chocolate. I only have my wife's chocolate if you want it.
Yeah, I don't think that'll go down too well. I'm trying to think. There was something that just occurred to me, but now I've lost it. Oh yeah, the time log stuff. But I think did we work on that
Yep.
last. I think we did, and the first change got merged. So if we haven't got anything else particular, we could start looking at the next step of that.
Yeah, it works for me.
Oh, I'll try and vaguely prepare my machine. Got code. I just had a weird network outage as well. Like, I don't know whether I can blame. I'm going to blame my Mac. I think it's getting to that point where it knows it's going to be replaced in the next sort of 3 to 6 months, so it just keeps playing up. Like randomly, I'm still got LAN access, but no internet access, and a reboot always seems to fix it. Like weird.
You're running a M1, aren't you, Lee?
I am indeed, yeah. Almost there. Issue as well. That's a weird share. So I've got, I don't know if you can see this constant notification that just keeps popping up and up and up.
Could not establish connection.
Oh, MySQL. Okay, so that's an extension. So let's kill. I think that'd stop it, right? Let's have a look. Afzal, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Let's have a look. Yeah, always happy to. I've always got a backlog of stuff to work on, but always happy to. That's what these sessions are for. So yeah, let's have a look what we've got here. So there's deployment jobs. The other. Okay. So I've used resource groups, but only the way I'm using them at the moment is just to prevent like a job running multiple to a scheduled pipeline, running the same job at the same time. So if we've got a pipeline that runs every half an hour and the process might overrun and take longer than half an hour, then I use resource groups to prevent, to make sure it waits for the previous one to finish before the next one starts. So let me have a look at what this API, because I can't see why you would, or what you would do with the API, if that makes sense. Because yeah, I need to understand the use case first. But yeah, building a UI kind of makes sense. Resource scheme, let's use the API. So what would be the point? Because if you define that in the YAML, or can you leave it? But yeah, I don't really understand. The resource groups actually persist after the job, or
I actually don't. I mean,
do you use them, or
I use resource groups like you mentioned, but only through YAML. I mean,
yeah, I can't see, like, if you've defined something like this in the YAML, then yeah, what would be the, so we've got unordered, oldest first, newest first. And what was this example? Oldest first, okay.
oh, you can change the process mode of a resource group. So the definition and setup of resource groups are still done in YAML. You can only you can change how they are evaluated, though.
Yeah. So you can get all resource groups for a project. Yeah, so that to me, I need to understand a bit more, or I'd like to understand. Maybe I don't need to understand. I guess if there's already an API for it to get them, then yeah, why not? I'm assuming again there's not a UI to. So the biggest thing is, so at the moment this is problem validation. So what we need. So yeah, so you got view and edit. So I don't think you would work on this before. Yeah, in fact, it even says blocked by. Sorry, I should have seen that immediately. So this is the first thing we would need. The view screen, I guess, before we can start going in to be able to edit them. Now, have we got any kind of, so it's ready for design at the moment. So I think what you would probably want to do is submit some form of proposal for what you think it would look like. Okay, so that's, I don't quite know why we've linked to that. But if it's just a list, then I guess it's just a table. And what screens do you know any off the top of your head? I'm thinking I always default to CRM. as the sort of where there's a, let me open up the component.
An example.
Just the basic, oh, that's not what I want.
An example of an application for with the
Just
CRUD.
a basic CRUD ideally, but even just a list initially, like the default one I fall back on, I guess, is the contacts, which essentially, although this one is well, no, I'm using paginated table with search and tabs, but B table, or what do we even call it? But then is there even a GraphQL?
Yeah.
That's the other question, because I don't think, like, these days we wouldn't tend to use the REST API from our front end. I mean, we can, but I would recommend you know what's easier, just using GraphQL Explorer.
Yeah. You want to check if there's already the mutations.
Yeah. Well, not so much a mutation, but I'm going to say no. Oh no, project. Sorry, I'm too far up, aren't I? It doesn't look like it, does it?
No.
So I would even argue that even before working on the view and edit, fair enough, if you're just a front end engineer, then we can try and get some support from the back end point of view. But yeah, has there been any discussion on this?
The thing is that you don't really, to solve the missing UI for that API, you don't really need to see the list of resource group, because it's a setting that's not changing anything on the resource groups.
How do you mean?
I mean, you don't need to see the list of resource groups, because that setting is global. Like, it's not that I want this resource group to act like this and that resource
Oh,
group.
really?
I think
I didn't
so.
get that. No, projects, ID, resource groups, and then edit an existing one. Projects, ID, resource group. No, so I think it's specific to the project.
Oh yeah, that's for the URL encoded key of the resource group. Yeah, so that's a by resource group thingy.
Yeah, so my inclination would be, and I'll just add a note here. That should suffice. And that should be reasonably straightforward. Again, we can hopefully find an MR like that you can kind of rinse and repeat. So what we would need is on the project type, we would need a new field, but we would need a type created for that as well. Probably even, do you think I can get one? I probably won't push this up, but I can try and throw something together real quick. Lots and lots and lots and lots of fields. I'm assuming browse.
Getting the list of resource group should be also pretty straightforward, because it's a direct member of project.
That's what I was saying. missing. It won't be null because it'd be an empty list. Right. We'll have to create one. So project first. Yeah, cool. So
You need to create the type and all of that. Ooh.
yeah, I guess we probably are supposed to namespace in these days, but yeah, let's just create a.
I think you only want to see the key of the resource group, because I'm looking at the model and that's pretty much the only value they have,
Let me go.
aside from the process mode, of course.
Yeah, I guess the existing process mode. So, and that probably want to be an enum, I guess, but we could probably just do a string or something for the moment.
It's an enum, so I would suggest to use a number instead of a string, probably easier to map on the type for now, for the quick and dirty way of doing it.
Yeah, one was process mode.
Yep.
Oh, you're saying it's
I think it's number, simply. Types int.
oh int, yeah. Oh.
Null false, because I think it defaults to 0, so it should never be null.
Okay, so we've got. Right. Way that's going to work straight off the bat, right?
Sure
And
will.
then we got to create one's probably going to be a pig, because I guess I'll need to set a runner up, and oh no, I might be able to use factory bot actually. The fact that I'm not getting autocomplete suggests I've probably broken it. But some catastrophic error. Oh no, weird. I don't know why autocomplete wasn't. Oh, I'm sure it returned and then it went changed to an error. That's because I didn't change this.
No.
Load it, see if the old autocomplete comes to life. Yeah. We should get count out of the box, and we should get key process. Looks like a good start. So let's create one. So first, this. Get rid of that. Empty that. Do 3bot create resource.
I was also looking at the policies, and there's already the read resource group and update resource group in place. So that's already taken care of.
Cool. CI resource group, which suggests we should probably namespace. Again, I'm just going to do this so you can sort of rinse and repeat almost. I'll maybe copy and paste the diff and add it as to the issue, but I'm not going to go as far as pushing it up. Beautiful. If I do another one, do CI. To try a random number. Okay. That has, I think it's just because it can't convert it to an int for some reason. Seems a bit weird. Nice.
Work.
So yeah, so that exposing it is reasonably easy. And then, yeah, I tend to refer back to this, but then this uses this paginated table, which might be a bit OTT to start with, to have searching and tabs and all the rest of it. Under the hood, I think that probably just uses GL table.
Probably a simpler example that's not using tabbed.
Yeah, go on.
It could be the time log, the global time logs. I think that's using the straight GL table.
I'm not even sure if we're using a table. Maybe we are.
Yeah, we are using a table.
Okay, yeah. I wasn't sure because it's quite sort of, I don't know what you call it, quite a lot of UI going on with that one, isn't there? It's not simple text, but yeah. So this is a good example. GL table with items and fields, fields, object array saying what the columns are, and then yeah, GraphQL query. Okay, so GraphQL query is actually in the parent in here. Here we go. Let's get time logs query. Then we'll have similar GraphQL into what we've got here. So yeah, first step, get that backend. So that backend needs to be merged in a minor release before we start work on the front. Well, not before we start work on the front end, but before we merge the front end in. So yeah, expose.
And
So now that I don't want.
and all the backend changes that we think we need. So basically the view and the edit can both be exposed, even if you don't have the UI, so that you get all the backend done, and on the next milestone you can.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, it's a really good point. So introducing like the controller and the view and some stuff that doesn't really do anything. I definitely did that. I wonder how easy. I could never figure that quite out with. I look at when this line was last changed, that should show me. Git lens always slows down to a halt. Here we go. So I introduced this 4 years ago. Let's have a look at the MR. I think I'm probably wrong, but I think I did exactly what Marco suggested there. So yeah, I did. I remember brightly for a change. So yeah, I just introduced a completely empty view app just to start getting like an MR with all of these changes, like introducing a new controller and helper and JavaScript and view app and GraphQL queries and everything all together is a bit much. So just kind of creating these endpoints is a really nice start. And I'm guessing I did it behind a feature flag.
Don't see any feature flag in that MR.
Where maybe it be in Hamel?
Maybe the feature flag was introduced before.
Yeah, or I guess it was, yeah, so the feature flag was already there, definitely. But I suspect, I wonder if the read contact permission was gated behind the feature flag. So it wouldn't, the menu item wouldn't have displayed, and the controller would have rendered a 404 essentially if you didn't have the feature flag enabled. So yeah, that's a really good example of just like creating the, what would you say, like stubbing the endpoints, etc. Don't try and do the menu. The navigation menu is quite a hot potato, so don't worry about adding it to the menu yet. I'm trying to think where we might mount that. We could start an issue to discuss where it would go on the menu, but until then,
I think it should or could live under the settings CI/CD menu.
Yeah, maybe the only concern I have with that at the moment.
Where do we have the pages settings? Because pages are related to deployments.
Question. And what I'm thinking as well is, although this doesn't stop us doing it at the moment, all settings are only available to maintainers unless you've got using custom roles. So I wonder what the permissions. You'd expect it to say, right, what permissions were required.
If you have at least developer access, you can read and update resource groups.
Okay. So, yeah, like you wouldn't have access to this page.
Yeah.
Unless you're a maintainer. So that makes it tricky if we put it on this page. I think you're right that pages used to have like settings, but they were moved under settings, if that makes it like they used to be under like pages settings. Yeah, this really annoys me. Kind of forces you through the wizard, I think, if you don't already have pages enabled.
So let me see.
Yeah, you can't see. I know. Like I was a bit concerned about what I share on my screen, but I know a good merge request leaderboard to that uses GitLab pages, so that would be a good one to have a look.
Yeah, GitLab pages have all their settings outside of the settings menu.
So yeah, but the problem is, what would this? Basically, it's contentious, or like it'll take time. Someone will have to figure out where it goes on the menu. It's fine not to have it on the menu initially, anyway. That's fine, but eventually it'll have to go somewhere. And I just don't quite know where it go.
It could be similar to pipeline schedules.
Yeah, but what I'm thinking about is in the interim.
Oh, well, in the interim, you can have the page without any menu item, and then
yeah, although I'm thinking, I'm sure we must use it for in GitLab, right, somewhere. So, because I think when a pipeline is using a resource group or a job is using a resource group, it pops up somewhere, right? I don't know if many of our jobs use resource groups or not. I guess the answer is no there, but I'm sure it says at the top here. I'm wondering if that's the opportunity where it says like, you know, something about a resource group, then you could.
let me see. I should have.
You could add a link from there.
I think I have one more that I can check.
Review apps uses a resource group, but we're not using review apps, are we?
That's the environment.
I don't. Looking at it, I'm not sure we're really. This one's interesting, actually. I'd never really. We're only using pages as a resource group. Ah, okay. Okay. I was under the impression that resource group. Yeah, of course. I guess I scoped to the project, so that's fine. Ignore me. Ignore me. I don't think it's. These environments. Look like that bit's running. But yeah, I think we've got you headed in the right direction anyway. I'll create a patch just quickly for. When you do a diff, it doesn't include untracked files, does it? Which genius knows how to do that? Or
Maybe there's a flag like -u.
hey, that did it. Data changes.
Yep.
So, wait. So yeah, that's so what would be really helpful, I guess, is if we can find an MR that introduced. So here's an MR. Stub the endpoints because this is quite a lot, right? So steps. So we've got like expose, resource groups, GraphQL, API.
Yeah. Expose
Stub.
the mutation. That could be somewhere. Yeah, with add an MR to expose the getter, one to expose the mutation, and in the meantime they can think about the UI.
Do we think feature flag or not really necessary? No, it's not really necessary, is it?
I don't think so. Oh, I have to go 1 second. Be right back.
No props. So yeah, if we can find query type. So group type. Come on, git lens. Slow. Should probably just use blame in the what's it, shouldn't I? Yeah, let's leave that tick in and go. Pasted that one already. Ah, there we go. Just stealing everything from back in the content and hoping that we haven't changed too much from how this used to work. Just yeah, they're just kind of reference points.
The L tables.
Oh yeah, thank you. Is it smart query?
Yep.
Never remember. Yeah. And you had your. So if we look at the. Yeah. Can you believe that was 2 years ago, Marco?
Already?
Apparently.
No, that's
Oh,
the flag.
that's not the one I wanted, is it? That's the one I wanted. Eek. That's a bit of a big example, but hopefully zoom in on the stuff we want. So who group environments, right? I would have said it'd be something to do with pipelines, but maybe not.
Well, it's related to deployments, so it could make sense that it's environments.
That's interesting. I never really think about it as being related to deployments, but I guess I understand the connotation there. Yeah, cool. I think that's so. I suppose resource groups are graphical. Yeah. Notation.
That should cover pretty much the basis.
And then I put somewhere. The first step should probably be discuss options. If there isn't one already, there are a few linked ones, aren't there?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I wonder if they are already in the UI.
But I think this is just a label.
Really confused by that. What's it saying? Oops. Didn't really show how to get there, if you know what I mean. I think you have to be in a job.
That's using resource groups.
Yeah, and then you click through. I don't know. They run a couple of pipelines. Visit a job that's white. So it's so specific.
Oh, while it's waiting for our source.
Yeah, this isn't adding any new screens or anything, so I don't really get what it's
Better
actually doing. Yeah, I think it's just showing what's. Okay, I got really confused. Couldn't see that video properly on your screen when I made it full screen, I don't think, but it was showing something in the breadcrumb showing resource groups. But that's the name of the test project that was created essentially to do the demo video. That's not the name of an actual screen, so that's why I was getting confused. Cool. Okay. I digressed there massively from, but I can't see an issue basically to discuss where we should expose this. So we should definitely get one created. Expose graphic CRUD, mutation, stop the endpoints, and create the UI. Yeah, awesome. And I didn't hit stream. Did you, Marco, at the beginning by any chance? It's gone. Never mind. Just download the recording afterwards. That's fine. Awesome. I think that just about covers it. And I'll add a link to the video once we've got it. Anyone, anything else before we despair?
I got 2 things.
Far away.
So I just threw an issue in the tracker or in the chat. I think it can go ahead and be closed because I think you guys migrated away from Vue stores or fixed it up so that it no longer has that issue.
Yeah, definitely moved away from Vuex. So yeah, I'm happy for you to close that one using your normal process.
Okay. The new contributor platform feature. That thing's handy.
I'm glad you're getting good use of it. But definitely, it was really challenging because obviously we had numerous conversations before, and I really wanted to build something to make your life easier, but just build something, to make it work. But It was quite hard because you were pretty much the only person that it would immediately benefit. The only person being like proactive in this way. But now I think it unlocks that opportunity for us to really promote like the sort of I don't know what you call it, but like basically support and promote the triaging, curating, clearing the backlog, housekeeping, I don't know, whatever. Because like the more hands we can get on this 70,000 issue backlog, and I don't know if I'd like to hazard a guess, but there's got to be a big proportion, like 10-20% of those issues that are just completely redundant, right?
Yep. If you don't mind, can I get screen sharing? I have one more issue, and I
absolutely
would not even understand how to begin to troubleshoot this. So, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
So all this is I'm trying to upload a file to using the GitLab interface. Okay.
Cool.
I hit commit changes, and it says unprocessable content. Okay, I failed to upload content.
Okay.
The issue is that it's going to an uploads folder. I called the name uploads.
Huh?
But if I do it like here, it works fine, throws everything there. If I put it in another file, it goes there. So I don't know where I would begin to actually troubleshoot or even take a look at the code for this.
Huh.
So, do you remind me? Do you have the GDK running locally?
I do. This is on GitLab.com though, but I
Yeah.
can go ahead.
So,
My
so
JDK
definitely.
is broketed. Well, Podman's
Okay.
broken right now, so I can't reproduce it. But
Okay. Yeah, like I would probably start by, so let me sort of just share my screen again quickly. Easiest way to show how I do it is to do it essentially. So yeah, we'll start by trying to do it exactly that. See if I've got a screenshot's the best way, right? So my brain couldn't even remember how to upload a file because it's so long since I. So desktop. Okay, so to the main GitLab's fine, but if we try and create a folder, can you even, yeah, you can, cool.
it's called uploads plural. Yep.
Yeah. Did it put git keep in there? Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's that error, right? This is what you were getting, right?
You must provide a file path.
So it almost looks like it's whitelisted, that file name of uploads or something. I would assume is whitelisted somewhere, or blacklisted, I should say. And that's what's throwing the error, but I can't think of a reason why it should be upload, or why it would be up or blacklisted, whitelisted, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Let me just go back to. Check what
was the error
endpoint
code?
is.
422 unprocessable content.
422.
Error, you must provide a file path or something to upload.
Create seems to be the name of the endpoint. Really should know how that. So I've been looking at APIs, the API recently, so I should be able to get if I do schedule schedules in here. It has some weird of the format, so I should be able to copy this and do right. That's what it was. Oh no.
No, it's on the squiggly bracket. And it didn't have an ID in there, did it?
Well, technically the project path is the ID.
Okay.
You know what? It's not using the. Of course, it's not. It's not using the API, is it? It's an internal. It's an internal thing. So controllers.
And you were able
create.
to tell that because of how?
Because it doesn't have slash API in the URL. So
I assume that that's just because it's old.
well, yeah, essentially the way that Rails and the way that GitLab used to work was everything was just like built. The API was more for integrations and external things to communicate with GitLab. Like we wouldn't build a public API and then a front end on top of that public API. The way we would get data to the front end would be just, I don't know what you even call it, in the HAML directly, you would access the models and the finders and the services. Whereas now, because we're using Vue.js, we use APIs to communicate between the back end and the front end.
And that leads you guys to dog fooding more the API, right?
I guess it does, yeah. Yeah. So we've got, oh, let's commit. So there's a really easy way, and my brain's just completely escaping me now. So if I look for /create, so how about if I do /, that might help. Right, here we go. Projects blog create. That be the blobs controller. Thought that's what this meant. Project slash, that's the controller and that's the action. There we go. Got it. Okay. So this is the controller that's used. There's no magic around the word uploads in here directly.
Create project blob path.
So I guess
Create service, I guess.
where you would do it, like, would it be easier if we did a
Repository create file.
because I would imagine in the log we'll be able to see, although yeah, maybe not actually.
You're looking for like a stack trace or something?
Yeah, but it's weird because it's not, it's almost like a validation error, isn't it? Rather than it's not like an exception's being thrown. And it worked. I did a successful that one there as well.
I suppose it's also not creating.
Oh no, of course. Sorry.
It's not even creating the commit because it's not uploading the file.
Okay, that confuses me. Why on this upload can I see the payload? But on this one, I can't.
Payload is what comes back, right?
No, the payload is like the data that you send. So it's showing here like the commit message and the branch.
Because you're going to uploads and the other one was not, right?
Yeah, but this is uploads is the name of the folder that I was trying to upload to. Let's just do another.
Well, do it in another folder. Make another folder real quick, right?
What I was hoping I might be able to see is like, is weirdly the front end failing to send something across, but yeah, okay, let me make a folder. That does work fine for you, right? You got your test. You don't see the payload. What? Do you not see the payload? That's just weird. But yeah, sorry, what I was going to do is clear it again. As empty as possible. And we got error. We can. Really know what I'm looking for anyway, to be honest, but it doesn't really look like there's much in there.
Unprocessable entity completed with 422.
So that's the end of the thing. So we can see where it gets to.
Project 1026.
It's checking all like the permissions and stuff.
What if you disable the auto wrap of the lines so that we can have a better look of where? I think it's Command X or Option X or Option Z. It's Option Z. Set the protected image. Project statistics.
Yeah, well, I think you're right. Like we could look in here, right? So, oh, was this the error that we got?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Validate if
I just don't get why we're not seeing the payload. Maybe if I block.
Oh,
I wonder if it like only shows it when it fails for some bizarre reason. Oh, I blocked it. Ah, I've blocked the wrong one. This repo is going to look fun, isn't it, after I finish? Perfect, payload. So we've got, yes, we've got the same stuff. It's not like there was a file name here, but there's not a file name with the one going to upload. So it's definitely the same data. The data's all good.
where is the file path coming from?
Question. It's got to be files-based service
For sure.
constructor, right?
File path. It's a param.
Yeah, but it must be getting that from somewhere, right? Because it's not in the payload.
Params.
Oh, it's going to be translating it from this, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay. So it's part of the URL.
Yeah, so if we go to, oh God, in a roots file somewhere.
Oh, you think maybe it's picking up on a root?
Oh.
Yeah.
That looks like it, right? Because you're posting.
Yeah.
So that's, although weirdly that's given ID, not I thought it'd be called path, the parameter name, not ID, essentially.
I really have to go now. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries at all. Have a good one, Marco. Good to see you.
Thank you,
See you later.
Yep. I will have a look at this video then because I want to see how it ends.
So I can
Bye everyone.
Bye.
have a good one, Marco. See you later.
Bye.
Why can't I load PriceShare? What am I doing? Because I can't spell. Ooh, that looked like fun. So I put it in a bit deeper. Wait a minute. That light exploded there. Yeah, this is where I'd be digging around. I'll give it another 5, see if I can miraculously.
I think I need to take off too, guys, but it's been fun, like always.
Yeah, have a good one, Rick. We'll keep you posted, see how we get on.
Yeah, I'll put the conclusion in the chat or something, and we'll see.
Yeah. Have a good one.
All right.
Catch you later.
Take care.
This is really unhelpful. I can't actually see what's crashing there. So, okay, here's something fun to try. So I guess we're not going to be lucky enough that there's a blob controller request.
So that's coming from the base controller, and it just implements the super.
So the validate, you mean, or so what I was thinking is we've got some specs here. So if I post preview, not sure what post preview. You post. There's not actually a spec.
The spec for /upload.
Yeah.
Which that would be your ID, right?
Create. No, I don't think so.
It should, because it's taking anything after the slash, right? For the
Oh yes, right? Sorry, yeah, but then just so yeah, so main /uploads should be the ID. Bit confused. Oh, okay, I get it. So right. I can't remember is how we there's a way that I can load a file. Although actually thinking about it, could be if it's a text file, then I could just put some text in, right? Because
I think you guys base64 encode it, don't you?
it says, but no, it looks like it is just binary content.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, whether it actually is or not, but let's find out. So we then say blog post. Okay, so I've got name of.
Well, hold on, go back real quick to the VS Code. So yeah, it's just some text that you're putting there. So just like what you did with let content some content.
This one. Namespace. Project. I mean, that looks wrong, but hey, ID. So yeah, we'll do it with master / change. Yeah, that's fine. We'll do it with that to start with. Oh, def, and then we need to actually put it does something. To post content and expect response to be okay. And I'm expecting this one to be okay unless I've cocked it. But then as soon as we change this path to master slash, yeah.
So I guess, do we just take a look at the validate function then?
Yeah. Validate superbase service. Where's that coming from? It's create service. I didn't run the specific. Validate permissions, sharp, branch, new name. Oh no, it's not new branch name. So yeah, let's see if we change it. So what I'm confused by though is this doesn't seem quite right though.
Because why would you have changelog? Because that wouldn't be a directory. That's the file name.
Exactly. Yeah.
So this seems almost like something on the front end almost.
Let's just try that. Because that's, yeah. Yeah, just main is what it would be when it's working. And then, or master or main, and then that is what we think is then going to explode, right?
I'm wondering if that doesn't work, I'm wondering if it picks up the file name from the content itself, because it is a binary.
Yeah.
So it has
would make
metadata
sense.
there. It'd be parsing the metadata of the file, right?
Yeah. So in which case we'll have to find a slightly different way of setting this content. That confusing surprises me.
So it has to be how it parses the file.
So yeah, should we see if we can find an example? Be like, right. Yeah, there we go. Fixture file, something or other. Nice old school TIFF file for you.
I haven't seen one of those in years.
Absolutely. For a school. You know, we used to have a scanner like in the IT room, and I think it was either TIFF or JPG that you could scan the different file format. Wow.
It's sad. When you first said scanner, I was thinking like, oh, a barcode scanner, because that's the first thing I think of now, because when was the last time I actually scanned something?
Yeah, good point. who owns a scanner these days, right? Okay, so that really surprises me that that's.
So make it just master real quick. Get rid of the /uploads, right? Because you're not sending in uploads in the other one, right?
Yeah, you are. Well, so the successful one is just going to main,
Okay.
but the one that's failing is going to main/uploads.
Okay.
So I was using master. I don't imagine there'll be any difference between main and
It
master, but
shouldn't matter.
I guess it depends with this project that's being created what the default branch name is. Yeah, that's really annoying that I can't do that prior shell. Main.
What?
Let's have a look at what for a binding. What I want to check is that this does generate the path we expect it to generate.
It doesn't have sanitization or something. Okay.
So basically slash and then the group or project, or sorry, the group and project, and then a dash, then create, and then the path. That looks exactly the same, doesn't it?
It does. What does the content look like, though?
Not really tell.
That doesn't look right. That almost doesn't look right.
Problem is we can't, like that prior shell that I was trying to use to see what the content was actually coming through as. But it was exploding, so I can't actually see what it looks like. But I just don't see why it'd be any different, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't. Because that all looks like it's working fine to me. So yeah, but basically the response 200. And if I try and look at, what would it be like project? Awesome. better. Don't even know how to see if that persists, like that change persisted. Like, should be a new commit, right?
Right. So let me ask this question. So we started off with what file, because we eventually got down to blob controller, right? But we started with what file?
Blob control is the entry point.
Okay,
So, but I suppose what we did, we then where was it? There was a roots file basically that we looked at.
So we took a look at create commit in blob controller, right? From there we went to
Well, I think blob controller was just create. So we use this roots thing that shows that when you go to basically a group / project / create / star, then that gets routed to projects controller, or sorry, not projects controller, projects blob controller, and then the create method.
okay. I'm just trying to track it, open all the files on my end so that
Yeah.
take a look. And then files create service would be in.
Oh, do you know what? You might. Don't know why I didn't look at this before. Project ID. Namespace ID.
Uploads is blacklisted, it looks like, right?
But I think that might just be for the namespace. I'm trying to decrypt this crazy string, if that makes sense.
What does GPT say?
Oh yeah, good idea.
And I guess while you're looking at that, I'm going to try creating a file in a users folder, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sounds great. The reason I don't think it's this is because of the error and the validation message, etc. I think that it would be, if it was a routing, like if Rails was refusing to route it, I think it'd be a different message.
Okay, it worked in users, so
Oh, yeah. So I think that might be a bit of a red herring there. But yeah, so this is where we found out that it was basically the project's blob controller and the create method. Then the create method sort of saying that it's using files create service, and that's where we saw this same error.
Okay, and files create service, is that in the projects directory or no?
No, just app services. What I'm going to try, I'm interested if I comment out that validation step. Oh no, because if file path's nil, then clearly it's not going to work.
But we won't send a nil one just for now, right?
Well, we're not. That's what we don't know where it's getting this. What I'm going to try. So that price shell thing wasn't working. But let's try. Let's try login file path.
Base service.
Yeah, we'll do. Oh, not even finding that. Could be a number of reasons. Being the super, so from create service we went to base service. Which didn't have a validate method, so we then went to commits create service.
Push.
Which does have a validate method. Not getting that far. Bye. Just completely kill GDK. Last thing I want to see if this writes to log and then call it a day, because then we could potentially, like, the next step after this call would be to dig into each of it. If this is successfully logging, but this isn't logged, then we sort of know that it's exploding. Yeah, so commit service has got that same potential error as well.
And commit service is only called when you use the web IDE, right? The non-VS Code.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't expect it to be used when you're pushing via Git directly. But yeah, if you're using the UI, let's say, whether it's the single file upload or whatever it might be.
So then I should, in theory, I should not be able to edit a file, that git keep file, correct? In that folder?
Maybe editing might be different in some way. I don't really
Because it
know.
should go under that git commit, right?
Uh, okay, we're getting there. So to me, that's telling me, so well, I'm going to do one more thing. And if we go back to here and upload this screenshot, what I would expect. Go on.
I went ahead and tried just committing a new file using the new file, like a normal new text file.
Yeah.
And it would not let me. And then if I tried editing that .git keep in the thing as well, it threw me an error as well. So it's not just, well, no, I take that last part back. The edit of an existing file, so it's only creation, it looks like.
Oh, that's interesting. So I just got the same error when I tried to upload a file with the name that already exists.
Is it the same error, or the error just didn't go away on the screen?
No, it was the same error.
Okay.
42 unprocessed. Although weirdly, right, let me just look at this log again. Okay. Yeah, so that's when it's hitting those validations, and that's when it's then doing file path. So if we go back into loads. Yeah, file path is, but it is getting there. I'm wrong. Okay, so it's validating, but then file path is blank. So where is it supposed to get? We looked at a file path that was in base service, wasn't it? Rams file path.
So it would be in your create commit in the files, create service, create commits, the transformer. Is that where you're thinking?
I honestly don't know. It's just weird. Oh, actually, file path's already in. Again, initialize somewhere.
Because it comes from your, it comes from a parameter, right? Is where
Well, that's what it's saying. But what's confusing is, well, the parameter isn't being sent in the payload, so it's.
So you have to have some sort of changer thing, right? Something that
Yeah.
maps it.
So it's definitely empty, so it's not getting set in the first place. So yeah, like you say, where could it be getting the file path? So normally it would be in that routes. So where did we find it earlier? It was. I've no idea what this regular expression does. Any number of non-zero characters. Yeah. Where is it getting that param?
So hold on. You were in config routes repository, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
So maybe it just gets it from there. But okay, this one. Where does else get file name or file
So
path?
hold on. Go to. It's not in repository deprecated, right? Because I see a resource where it's mentioning create, but I can't tell. I don't think that's a. No, never mind.
I don't get that.
Yeah, so that regex is anything that's not a null character.
Okay.
So a space is a valid.
This is really weird. It's yeah, it's really suggesting that this isn't automatically populated, which then just makes you think, well,
How is it getting popular?
yeah, exactly. Um,
And when you do a normal one, you don't get a file path at all, right?
no, well, there's not in the form data, and I don't know where else it could be coming from because the root. Yeah, the root doesn't. The root's calling it ID, which is what I find quite confusing because what my expectation of it would be um, um, is in the root, which was repository, right? My expectation would be that this wouldn't be ID, that this would be slash file path. That would work and do what we want. So it's where is it mutating? Extracts path. This is going to be exactly where our bug is. Yeah. This is it. This is it. This is it. It extracts the ref type. Is it branch? Is it a whatever? Yeah. Okay.
And so it's because if I remember correctly, doesn't Pages use a branch or something called uploads or something?
I think everything uses it, if that makes sense. So, like when you drag and drop a file into a comment in a or an issue description or anything like that. But what I'm now trying to figure, so this I think it's got to be what's doing it. But now I'm confused.
I would
Like
expect
because in here I was expecting to see an explicit like call to
uploads.
set this, but I can't see that. So we're setting ID ref half. So I'm also going to do file path. Convinced that's where it's trying to do the magic. Probably where there's that's interesting. So it echoed that.
Because you should have seen your...
Oh no, it's further up here. Oh, that's not what I expected it to be.
Why is it putting authorize in there?
Let's do a proper one quickly, or one that works, I should say. Renamed this file so many times now. So, so
You probably should have cleared that.
yeah, I didn't expect. I have to go up that. I guess when it's successful, it then makes a lot. I don't think clearing it would have helped actually. I think it's after a successful upload, it does quite a lot of. It then makes lots of requests. So let's do.
Can you control F for it? That's what, yeah.
Oh, okay, that's really interesting.
So the upload / authorize, that was the first one you did, right?
Do you know what? I think it's hitting the wrong route. I think it's hitting a completely different route. Because if you look for this one, which is the one that failed, it's in projects blob controller. This one.
I'm wondering if there's another route somewhere that it's just providing the / upload.
Yeah. Oh no, it's the same controller. What's the difference? Why is it? So I'm just looking at like unpermitted parameters, right? And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then this one, we've got only 3. What's the difference between these two? Now, what I should be able to look at is like where the request. So started a post. This is where it then says processing by blobs controller as JSON. So they're both hitting the right controller. But it's the params handling that's completely different that's really throwing me off. So here, this is really interesting.
And how do you know that they're hitting the right controller?
So when you scroll, although have I gone up far enough? Well, basically in here it's showing just before this, we've got here we go, controller projects blob controller on both of them. So this is the one that isn't working. No, this is one that is working. Weirdly, path is blank on that one.
And that would make sense because it's the root. Well, no, it doesn't make sense.
And in here it's upload / authorize. Just don't quite know how it's getting to.
Where did it come up with that authorize? Because you didn't name your file authorize, right? It would have been that. It would have been that s whatever, right?
Wait, and that wasn't even in the. what's it? Was it? Yeah, there's two. Okay, so where on earth is it getting this authorized from?
I'm wondering if it's when it parses, if it is just like a default or something.
But look at the parameters here. We've got commit message, original.
Because if I
For this, we've got ID. So we're missing. Let me
because
do this.
you send an authenticity token, you're not using authorized at all.
Yeah. No, subfolder. Yes, I've got commit message and branch, and but it's not getting that information. It's definitely hitting the right controller. Something weird. It's mutating. Well, it's mutating everything.
Oh. You know what I'm betting it is? Look, so go back to your repository.rb file.
Yeah.
So look at line 45. Does that get evaluated before the one down below?
It would, yeah.
So I'm wondering if in your path regex, if it has.
But even if it was, then this would be different, right? Because if you look at this, it'd be hitting a different controller, I would have thought.
Oh God.
I don't think it's that because well, I'm slightly confused now because oh yeah, two. Okay, yeah. So these are both the failed. Actually, 4 hits. I don't know if that's because this file, because I've just done some more, but it's just adding this authorizing. almost convinced that's the issue, if you know what I mean. Because it's not there in the path.
So where did you find the thing that's doing the mapping? You found that where?
So the mapping. So we've got the visual thing here.
Right, I'm talking the parameter matching though.
So then, yeah, the way I see it in here, where we've got a create, yeah, it's create slash and then ID, which basically means take everything after the slash and that becomes the ID.
Right, and then that goes and splits up into what? I guess what I'm saying is, how are you populating that file path? Because you were taking a look at that code and then you.
Well, that's the point. There isn't a file path, right? So if you look at parameters, the ones that we're doing have got this as the ID, which for a start is slightly buggered because it's got the authorized at the end. But then if we look at a successful one, it does have the file path.
Let me rephrase. So where did you put that debugger? What file?
In the controller. Oh no, so sorry. This isn't actually coming from a debugger at all. This is out of the box Rails, just splurging stuff into its development log.
Right.
So it's receiving the post, and then it's routed it to the blob controller, to the create action, and these are the parameters that it's got in a successful one, and these are the parameters it's got in an unsuccessful one. So it's really high level because it's before. I don't know if we can. There must be something somewhere. Config/root, right? Upload authorize. What's this?
Oh, uploads.rb.
You spotted something in there, or
So you have uploads authorized, right? So I'm wondering if it's trying to parse the wrong one.
so we've got scope.
Uploads.
Then it's hitting the blob controller. So if it was hitting this, then it'd be then getting rerouted to like the uploads controller, which it's not, as far as I can see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just can't think what would. Like we've got some middleware somewhere. That's like, yeah, jumping in and extracting. I thought extracts path seemed like a logical.
This is that was the file I was talking about. So where is that extract paths?
So that's included in blob controller. It's just in lib.
Now I just gotta find blob controller again. I have too many tabs open.
Yeah.
So extracts path. And that's that's core Ruby, right? Or no?
What is, sorry?
That extract paths, where does that get included from?
So yeah, the blob controller is the one that's including that.
Right, but I guess where's the file that it's importing from, that blobs thing? Does that make sense? So,
really.
so when you opened up that extracts path, what file is that literally? So that's lib, right? So lib is for Ruby, right?
I don't. It's not out of the box. It's still our own custom stuff.
Okay, so I would go to in the Git. There would be a lib. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. There.
I just can't see. There's this middleware kicking in. Is this? Have you got an issue that this is off the back of? I take it that you're digging into.
Yes, there is.
Can you drop the issue in the chat?
Yes, if I can.
Somebody with a bit more rouse. It's got to be able to say, "Oh yeah, there's this magical middleware." 6 years ago. Wow.
And it hasn't been updated since then.
First thing we do, add some labels to it. Happy with bug, I guess.
Is there like a confirmed issue thing or label?
Not that I particularly know, to be honest. Guessing, I'm fairly sure it's back. Like, it's even like Rails is seeing the wrong, because I would expect this to be the path unmutated, if that makes sense. But it's not. 100% we're not putting /authorize on the end randomly. So there's some kind of redirect going on there. Which again would make sense if we could see it was being picked up by a different controller. But the fact that it's being picked up.
So the one that is wrong again, you cleared the logs right before, right?
Yeah, you can basically see there's 4 calls to, four calls like to post. So this is one that's working. So create /main, which is correct. That's what we see in the browser, and that goes through to the correct controller, but with all these parameters. But then the one to upload has randomly got extra authorize on the end.
So what happens if you scroll up a little bit? Is there like another post or something?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. No. No, this is all unrelated stuff.
Right? Is that the one?
No, this is a successful one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to reach out to more of a Rails expert. Like there's got to be some weird layer, middleware, whatever you want to call it. Where it'd be. What it'd even be called, if you know what I mean. Oh.
What is
Force.
that?
Yeah, but
Oh.
where? That's,
And that makes sense why it's putting the authorize on the end of it, because if you're enforcing it, it then goes to the I want to call it IDP.
yeah, potentially, but then we're already authorized anyway, so I don't really understand why. Okay, so we still get the same thing even when I've disabled that. Last one. Yeah, still going to the off. But then that being said, doesn't necessarily mean
It's fully disabled. Do you just need to put that to true? Return true?
That's what I tried. Yeah, that's what I tried.
Well,
Or false, I set it to, because we don't want it to enforce.
well, no, go back, because there was 2 checks there, right? You set part of it to be, because it's doing target practice.
Yeah, okay.
not
Okay, yeah,
public.
we could do that as well. It doesn't hurt to try.
Just because there's more logic there.
I'm not seeing it. Yeah.
Okay.
Where is it happening? GCP token, not going to be that. No, I give up. I'll ask. Somebody will know the answer.
Okay.
it's been interesting to explore, and at least we definitely we're onto something here where we can see, like, when you hit this one, this random extra bit on the end, and the way that the parameters are, let's say, mutated here versus here is very different. So yeah, we'll see if someone can help us understand what middleware is getting involved, what could be intercepting it and redirecting it,
All right.
and
Thank you very
go from
much.
there. Thanks as always, Jim. Great to chat to you, and have a great week.
You too. Bye.
Catch you later. Bye bye.